Hello, everyone. Good day to you. Welcome to the show. This is Molly McCord, and today is September 25th, 2019, and we are looking at the weekly intuitive astrology and energies of September 25th into October. Yes, we are approaching October very quickly, and we have a lot to look at in today's episode. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your presence and your time as we talk about this wide world of astrology and how we are feeling it energetically, spiritually, intuitively, however it's showing up for you. There are many types of astrology in the world. There's many different interpretations and styles. There's different systems. In fact, there are over 20 different house systems in astrology. So it's really a big world of knowledge, and it's been accumulating for decades and centuries. It's been growing. And the astrology that I particularly focus on is the intuitive spiritual energies of astrology. I believe they help our soul growth. I believe it connects with a deeper wisdom that we each hold. And I believe that it helps guide us through the chaos of the world, if you will, the uncertainties. And it reminds us not only to keep going, but to keep trusting, to remember your power, remember your choices, remember the bigger picture, and to feel your energy as a reliable beacon, to understand that you can always trust yourself. You can grow into that knowingness. You can go deeper into what you came in to master in this lifetime. And astrology is such a great tool for that. So I offer that for those who are new to this style or to these interpretations. I hope that something in this episode resonates with you. It's a good takeaway. It's a good understanding. It helps something click. And ideally, it brings about a new sense of peace in yourself as well. So we are officially in Libra season, and as I do this podcast, the sun is at 2 degrees of Libra. We also have Venus at 13 degrees of Libra and Mercury at 18 degrees of Libra, although these two are moving quite fast. And they are going to be traveling together through a widening conjunction into October. So next month. So this means that over the next week, we have 3 planets in Libra assisting us with this integration period that we're moving through. Now, Libra is the 7th sign of the zodiac. It is an air sign. It is a masculine sign. It's also a cardinal energy. And what that means is that Libra is an initiation energy, as all cardinal signs are. Cardinal signs are associated with the beginning of each season. And so Libra is the initiation of air energy, of conversations, of relationships, of working with others, of talking about things. Libra is associated with what we share with other people, how you present yourself to others, how you show up in relationships, how you share information that you've been thinking about, things in your head, what you've been working on. What you've been working on is important because of how Libra follows Virgo, and Virgo is where we've had to focus in, hone in, get things done, move something along, say no, 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 or yes, yes, yes. So now we move into Libra where we share. We share our energies. And what's interesting about Libra is that it is known for being a sign of beauty. We love beautiful things. We love to enjoy the good life, to enjoy social events, to go out to a concert, to the opera, to a new restaurant. Libra likes to get out and see what's happening with other people. It's an energy that's comfortable with others, with a healthy give and receive, a balancing of what is healthy in relationships. And so Libra is where we are bringing our attention to how we show up in relationships, in partnerships, but also it's a readjustment to your relationship with yourself. And the relationship with yourself energetically establishes your relationships with other people, but also your relationship with everything, because we are energetic beings in relationship with other energies, and those energies are wide and variable. There's many energies in the world, so we are always in relationship with something. And in Libra, we tend to focus on people. But the higher understanding is that Libra brings us into balance with ourselves, and even more specifically with our divine masculine and divine feminine energies. Or you could say your inner masculine, your inner feminine. We have both of these energies within us. You could have more masculine, you could have more feminine. It would depend on your astrology chart and what energies are strong for you in your astrology chart. For example, the masculine energies are the fire and air signs. Feminine energies are the water and earth signs. And we are looking at our inner union within ourselves during Libra season, understanding that that is what we then take out into our connections and partnerships with others. So this understanding of the energies helps you maintain your power, helps you see the dynamics in your life. The other side of Libra is that when there is not that healthy balance, when there is not an even giving and receiving, there can be a lot of people pleasing. There can be a lot of, I'll do anything to maintain the peace. There can be the energy of codependence. I'll do anything to keep this relationship in my life. And these are patterns and habits that can circulate for a lifetime. They can be very unconscious. They can be parts of you that you're unaware of, if this is true for you. They can also be things we see in other people, where we see a codependence pattern, or we see somebody staying in a relationship because they're afraid of being on their own, or they're afraid of losing that person in their life, or any number of reasons. Of course, there's many reasons that relationships continue on. But this Libra energy is asking you to be very honest with yourself, because Libra is an objective air sign. So it's not about the feelings. It's not even about going into too much of your ego. It's about how would you describe something objectively on paper. And Libra invites us to look at the other side of the coin, the other side of the energy. We can be very subjective. We can be very in our own perspective. And Libra opens us up to say, well, think about it differently. Or what do you think about this version of the story? Or how about this perception? So it asks you to step out of yourself to see something from across the street, so to speak, to look at it at a different angle, and to be open to all the perceptions that are possible, or all the ways that something could be perceived or understood. And this is also it leads us to another part of the Libra energy, which we don't always think about, because we think about Libra as diplomatic and conversational and charming, very charming, and the energy that everybody likes. Libra has that energy of being very easy to be around, good at socializing, sometimes good at small talk. It's just that kind of very charming persona. But the other side of Libra is that it's also your open enemies. It's the people who disagree with you, the people who don't like you, the people who see things very differently, and you're not going to find common ground. Now, Libra is gifted with conversation, talking it out, diplomatic means of, well, maybe if we talk enough, we'll reach a win-win. It's very Libra. And yet the reality is not everybody wants a win-win. Not everybody wants to keep talking it out. So in Libra, there's the people that you openly disagree with, the people that you can't find that common ground with. So it's very interesting because when you're aware of this side of it too, you have the opportunity to practice that objectivity, to practice saying, okay, I guess we can't talk this out. We're not going to reach a conclusion. It's not worth the time and energy. It's not worth disrupting my inner peace. It's not worth taking me out of balance. It's not worth going into this over and over and over again, because that Libra energy will say, well, let's come back to the table and let's keep talking. Let's sit down one more time, and it's almost to the point of exhaustion. But the intention is to find a win-win. The intention is harmony. But you can't do that with everybody, right? You can't do that with different people and their programming, their energy, their intentions. So the Libra energy is also meant to give you clarity on when to cut something loose, to notice when you can't talk it out, you can't find common ground, and your inner peace could be worth way more than going back to negotiations over and over again. So I know that phrase open enemies is a little harsh, a little intense, but there's variations of that. It's the people you have disagreements with that you cannot find common ground with. But how do you practice maintaining your own equilibrium, especially mentally, with Libra being an air sign? So we have the Sun, Venus, and Mercury all in Libra at this time, and we are building up to a new moon at 5 degrees of Libra on September 28th. Now, this new moon is actually quite uncomfortable. It has discomfort in it. It's showing up in a few places. So the Sun and the Moon are together at 5 degrees of Libra, and that's a lovely connection. That is the harmony, the balance, the sense of we're in this together. It's great to have partnerships with people who get you, right, who understand you. However, this new moon is opposing Chiron in Aries, which is where we're understanding how we're different now, the parts of us that are emerging, the new aspects of self coming through. This Chiron in Aries is what you do not want to share. You don't want to take it to other people yet. There's parts of yourself that are only for you. So there could be this push-pull around what you bring into a connection with others and what you keep for yourself. The Sun and the Moon are also under a discomfort with a quincunx from Uranus in Taurus retrograde at 5 degrees. And this is an energy of, no, this is mine. I want this. This is what I've earned. This is what I've made. This is my domain. So there's this strong energy here of what you know is only for you, and yet that is something, it's something to be honored. And it's something that you're getting stronger in, because relationships are changing. I mean, we go through these big cycles of change, intense growth, intense healing, and it changes us permanently. So when you look at the bigger scale of energies that have been unfolding, especially throughout 2019, but even throughout this decade, as I've been talking about, if you listen to this podcast regularly, we've talked about the changes over the past 5 years, the past 7 years, the past decade. And so you know you've permanently shifted something. and that you're meant to honor that. But how do you honor these new parts of yourself and share it with others if you're not ready to, if you don't want to? So do you see how there's this discomfort? And I got the image of it's trying to sleep on a plane, or you're trying to get comfortable, you're trying to have a decent place to rest your head or not hurt your shoulder, or, I'm thinking of also a transatlantic flight or a longer flight, and you just want to rest, and it's hard to get comfortable. That's the energy of this new moon. It's like, well, I want to be comfortable in this, but I'm not. Something is different. I'm different, and I'm bringing the pieces together. Now, this energy of the new moon is only at 5 degrees of Libra. It's the beginning of Libra, right? So we have many more weeks to work through these relationship energies, to figure out what it looks like now, and to disentangle some of those knots. But something about this new moon is bringing your consciousness to the fact that you're different. And how do I do this differently now? How do I show up differently? And that's where we are being asked to love ourselves, love the healing that's happened, love what's occurred in your life, and to not give it away to other people. Now, the other energy of this new moon that's also strong right now, the second half of this week, so I'm going to actually say the end of September into October, is how both Mercury and Venus in Libra are squaring Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. And this is typically a checking in point to the unconscious relationship patterns that you've been in, and does that really serve you? Is that really the best choice or direction you want to go? And so what happens is there can be this energetic stop that you didn't see coming, or at first throws you off, and you realize something. You realize, maybe this isn't where I want to keep putting my energy or my effort. What do I need to see in myself that I haven't noticed before around how I communicate, how I love myself, how I'm honoring who I am now with other people? And this is part of the discomfort. The ruler of Libra is Venus. And Venus is in her home turf of Libra right now. So she comes alive and she enjoys this energy. And it's a very interesting paradox, actually, because Venus is a feminine energy, Libra is a masculine. So we're balancing the feminine and the masculine. We're talking it out, thinking it out, understanding something from, it's like a higher mind perspective. That's the invitation, is to go higher in your own relationship with yourself. What you thought you had to do to keep the relationship strong, where you thought you had to do more, or where you had to take more responsibility. The energy right now is saying stop, look at yourself, look at your mastery, look at how you've grown, look at what's changed for you. Can you really stay in that same pattern, or can you really stay in those same habits? And chances are that's when you then feel that discomfort come up of, no, I can't. I have to honor and get stronger in what I need now, knowing that there will be others who mirror that healthiness back to me. So there's big relationship changes happening here, and they can be small, subtle shifts. They don't have to be huge breakups. They can just be you do something differently. You say no where you used to say yes, or you say yes, where you used to say no. You respond to a text differently or an email. You speak up in a conversation. You communicate something that maybe you didn't know you could give words to. So all of this is part of this readjustment that we're meant to honor. And it can be uncomfortable, and it's easy to slide back into what's known and into habits that are familiar. But I feel like for many people, there's been this growing pressure of, I can't go back. I'll do anything to go forward. I'll do anything to keep moving ahead. I can't go back. It's that sense of, I understand what's really done for me, and now I'm going to go ahead. And it feels that feels really powerful. It feels incredibly powerful. To add to that moving ahead, we now have Saturn direct in Capricorn, approaching 14 degrees, moving ahead. It's removed the slowdown, removed restrictions. It's a bit like stepping out of the sand. It's like stepping away from where you couldn't gain traction. Now there can be this sense of, okay, finally, I can feel the shift. I can feel things showing up, lining up. I'm ready to say yes and ready to move forward. And then the other strong energy here is how Jupiter in Sagittarius is done with the ongoing square to Neptune and Pisces, which was removing what we were planning, what we were trusting, what we were wanting. It was keeping an energy in this limbo of faith, like that limbo of, I can't swim any harder, I can't do any more except keep believing in the bigger picture. So the images I've been getting leading up to this show are quite interesting and really quite beautiful. So this is the information that I've been hearing and receiving, as I've been seeing a gold circle, a gold band. And think of it as you're looking down on it. And it looks like a gold circle that could be a marriage band, that could be a gold bracelet, that could just be a gold circle, okay, whatever resonates with you, whatever feels right for you. And I see this gold ring broken. And it's like there's a chunk of it taken out. And it's been cleared out, torn off, whatever. It's like there's just a section of the circle missing. And it's representing where your energy was contained in a certain part of your life. And this could be external or internal, meaning it could be something with other people, or it could be an energy within yourself that's been contained. And it's been circling. This energy inside this gold ring was a corral. And it was showing you a part of yourself that you wanted, something that mattered to you, something that was precious. I'm thinking now of the Lord of the Rings and the gold ring, right? And the precious, Gollum calling it my precious. It was something precious to you. It mattered. It had meaning. It was a value, right? And it was something that I feel the gold is part of that energy of the value of it. And this is what maybe you put a lot into, or you developed it, or you grew it. There's something about this contained energy that represented a area of your life that's had a really intense energy focus really intense. And then I see a chunk of that band missing. The circle is broken. There's a tear. There's a chunk removed. And that is how the energy broke. Like something's broken. Because now it feels like there's also pain, sorrow, heartache, like emotional intensity connected with it. And what I've been guided to share with you is to rework this scenario energetically for yourself if this is resonating for you. Because what I see, and it's so awesome, is that whatever was contained in this energy field of this precious gold circle, the breaking out is the energy of wild horses being set free. It's the coolest thing. It's these wild horses running out of that corral where they were held in, limited, perhaps safe, yes, but they were captive. They were not allowed to be their full expression. And so I see these wild horses running out of this gold corral, this gold ring. And it reminds me of the wild horses in North Carolina on the Outer Banks. And they just roam free along the beach. They are able to live and explore and be themselves. Hey, beachfront property. They're very wise. Every time there is a hurricane or intense weather, they always come back. They always survive. They know what to do to take care of themselves. They are in a pact. So this visual of the wild horses being set free also relates to Jupiter in Sagittarius, because wild horses are related to Sagittarius, the energies of freedom, independence, exploring, strength, restlessness. I don't want to be held back. I don't want to be limited. I don't want to be on a leash. The energy of being able to just run. So there's this energy changeover where something that was precious to you and it did have meaning or it was an important part of your life, you're now setting yourself free from that with power. I mean, think of the power of stampeding wild horses. And the freedom is in that energy opening up to a new sense of independence, a new sense of trust in yourself. And this feels very, it's spiritual in a sense. It's really much about the soul's growth, where some of these energies that you were stuck in, you were in them for lifetimes. And it's like I'm seeing again the gold corral, right? The gold ring. And I'm seeing, okay, first there was a pony, and then there was a horse, and then there was a bigger horse. I don't know all the horse types. And then now there's this wild horse being set free. It's like you've grown through a situation, you've grown through an energy field, and now you are free to roam to new pastures, to not be held back by what you thought you had to do, what you thought your responsibilities were, what you thought you had to take care of. I'm seeing a horse. I'm sorry, I'm not a horse person, but you know how they are moving their front foot like they're ready to go, and then they're puffing out air, and they're like, let me out, let me out, let me out. It's been that anticipation. Let me out, let me out, let me out. And now there's a freedom. And that's part of this energy shift in September, is that you're meant to now go into a freedom of self and independence. And that's why it's interesting with relationships, because not everyone wants you to do that. Not everybody wants your freedom. Not everybody wants your independence. And this is where the relationships can be, figuring this out here, because I've got to be me. I've got to do something my way. And the bigger picture is that so many people, and I mean millions, I'm feeling millions of people, are stepping into their true life work next. And maybe that's already happening for you. Maybe you're already in that. But you have to be free and in your energy field to move into this next chapter, this next phase, and a whole new sense of what you're here to do on the planet, the soul mission work, the life purpose stuff, I'm going to call it the most important, for some people, it's the most important years of their life. And that's because it's what we, as a human family, are being required to step up into. And to step away from those responsibilities, limitations, anything that was necessary as part of the growth, part of the healing, part of the learning, but you can't stay in it forever. So I got that image of the gold ring, and then I got the image of the Mustangs, or the wild horses being set free and just running. Beautiful, gorgeous energy. And then I was brought to the movie, The Shawshank Redemption. And I know this movie is at least 20 years old. Morgan Freeman, Tim Robbins. Really good movie. And there is a conversation in that movie, and I believe Morgan Freeman was saying this, that he didn't want to leave the prison. He didn't want to leave where he was because it was his perception that this is his home. This is what he knows. This is where it's comfortable. And he doesn't know what's out there beyond those walls. He doesn't know what's beyond this life, this way of life. And so I thought, well, this is so random, but this makes complete sense, because there's a part of us that really likes our comfort zones and really likes what is easy and what we've built or what we've understood about life, or the things that, again, you've understood this is a part of your story. And I feel like this is bringing you to your power of choice. Libra is about choices and making the right choice. But again, this is the higher mind right choice that honors what you need without self-sacrificing it for other people, but also without self-sacrificing it for an older version of yourself. So the Shawshank Redemption storyline is supposed to represent the part of us that wants to stay in a comfort zone and allow yourself to go down that trajectory of how that would play out. And would that really be satisfying for you at this point? Would that really be the best choice to make? Is that really where you want to direct your energy? Or how does it feel to move forward, to be set free, to be that wild horse exploring new territory? So Libra season brings us choices. And in fact, it reminds me of some of my really good friends who are Libra, that have strong Libras. And when you ask a Libra, what restaurant do you want to go to tonight? Like, oh, I love Thai, but Italian sounds good too, or there's that Mexican place. It's like so many choices. And sometimes the Libra can't decide and says, I don't know, you decide. And so you could feel like you're indecisive about some things as Libra season gets going, as we move through these Libra energies. But the energy shifts in October as both Mercury and Venus go into Scorpio, and Scorpio brings in that passionate drive. I want this. This is what my choice is. This is where I'm going. So the energy right now is about being in equilibrium with yourself, okay? Looking at where you are needing to be more fuller in the masculine or the feminine energies, where you're looking for inner harmony, equilibrium within that brings you to a new, I see it as that new energetic balance. I also feel this as a new energy, a very new energy. This Libra season is different than last Libra. This is a time of newness, and there is something about staying open to that newness right now. Even if you don't, quote unquote, know in your head the choices or answers just yet. Anytime there's strong air signs, we can be very much in our heads. We're very mental, cerebral, thinking it out, talking it out. But understand, too, that that's only one way that we make decisions. You make decisions intuitively, energetically, from your gut. Right now, the mind is stronger. But then check in with your other decision-making faculties, we'll call them. Check in with your gut. Check in with your intuition. And allow the wholeness of your energy to guide you. We do have to be aware of being too much in our heads or too analytical when there's strong air signs. Because then we put the mind in charge, and sometimes the mind is not the best decision maker. And instead, the mind is meant to support the emotional body or the gut response. And that could be part of your realignment. That could be part of what you're noticing in your relationship with yourself, is that you've been too mentally focused. You've only made decisions from your head, and those have been disappointing, or they haven't really honored your heart, or they haven't honored your emotional needs. So part of this rebalancing and realignment is to look at the role of the mind and to not give it too much power or too much focus, because when you're in the wholeness of your energy field, you're really connected to all of your gifts, all of your talents, all of your ways of honoring yourself. So I feel like this is a time of keeping the mind in its place and knowing that I feel like for many people, your energy fields are just much more open. There's been these bursts of awakening. There's been these bursts of power and like a surge coming through, and I'm seeing it now at every chakra. Pow, 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 pow. Like it's just been one of those fireworks energetically that's just gone off, and it's just opened people up to even more understanding of themselves. And it can be a lot at once. It depends how fast that's happened for you, or how it's happened. But that's part of this realigning yourself so that you know that you'll get the ideas you need and you'll connect with the right people. I also feel like this I'm going to call it a discomfort zone. So if we go back to that gold ring as a comfort zone, now you're in a new zone that could feel at first like a discomfort zone, but it's an expansive energy. It's a new area of potentials and possibilities. I mean, you've been set free from some very intense karma. And astrologically, this is Saturn moving away from the South Node in Capricorn. I also feel like it's related to Jupiter, again, no longer being squaring Neptune and Pisces. So there's a freedom energy here. It's interesting because of how there's also the Libra focus on relationships. But again, it comes back to this freedom, independence, changes in how you show up in relationships, changes in the kinds of relationships you need and the kind that you want. The kinds of relationships that honor the fullness of who you are, that honor that perhaps your values have greatly changed. Your belief system has shifted. Your truth has expanded. What you want has gone in a different direction. And what's amazing is that because there's over 7 billion people on this planet, there are more than enough people in the world to connect with. And I think that some people go into like this panic of who am I going to be friends with, or who's my tribe, or who are the others who get me. That will happen. That will show up. But right now, show up for yourself. Show up for yourself. Look at who's in the mirror. And then you don't have to deal with projection as much. That's another Libra energy, is projection and mirroring and what we learn about ourselves from other people. So it's a very powerful time to look at this new relationship with yourself and how you're showing up in that relationship with yourself. And I have to say, it feels very sparkly, yellow. I'm seeing sunflowers. I mean, it feels very bright. So honor that brightness. Honor that. Honor that. And I feel like we'll go into this more next Monday and next Wednesday, of course. If you didn't hear the Monday podcast, you might want to listen to that. It's a conversation I had with Mary Kennedy about these energies as well, and her program, The Celtic Wheel. Very cool information that's so timely, so timely. So listen to that show if you're interested in exploring more about your relationship with yourself. And then I also have for you a brand new program all about 2020 Soul Growth Astrology. It's on sale right now. It's 3 webinars with the full astrology of 2020. So you grab your astrology chart and you're going to see how 2020 shows up for you. You're going to see the Mercury retrogrades, the Mars retrograde. You're going to see the big energies of the outer planets, plus all 6 eclipses. There are 6 eclipses in 2020, including the mega eclipse in June. June's a big month, by the way. And I put all this together so you have a heads up on what's happening. So the link is below this podcast, and if you use code POWERFUL, you get all the webinars for $22. It's USD. Because I wanted to make this accessible to as many people as possible. That's really how it can have the most benefit and how it can support you next year and beyond, because the next decade is so big. So it's the 2020 Soul Growth Astrology, coupon code POWERFUL, and you grab your astrology chart, and I guide you through the energies. I give you the themes. I give you tips. I give you support for what to look for, and you can come back and review it as many times as you want. I mean, just sign in, and you can look at it again in February and next June and next November. So I wanted to let you know that that is now available. It was a joy to work on it. It's a lot of work, as you would guess, but it was important to me to get this out and to show you your own energy themes in 2020. So check that out, and I hope that really helps set you up for a powerful year and a powerful new start. And there's already people in there who said that they binge-watched all 3 webinars, and they're going to go back and start again. It's like perfect, because actually the more times you watch it, you'll get something new every time. That's typically what happens. Okay, so beautiful new moon vibes to you. There's another video on YouTube where I talk about this new moon and some of the awkward energies of it. So check that out if you'd like. And I'll see you back here on Monday, and we will voyage ahead into October and what the remaining months of 2019 will be bringing us. So have a beautiful week ahead, and thank you again for your time and energy. I'll speak with you soon. Bye-bye.